Hi, Analisa 6 here with the Lady of Leisure and the Sober Curator to bring you the horoscope for the zodiac sign of Aries for November 2023 for sun and rising placements. All right, let's jump right in. Hi, Aries. Welcome to November. It's currently Halloween, the day that I am recording this. November is an interesting month. I would say that in many ways it feels a little bit smoother than October, but at the same time, there's so much opportunity for deep reflection that it could feel hard in a different way, where not necessarily things in the material are hard, but things internally with what we're reflecting on, thinking about, assessing in our lives, changes that we want to make or need to make. That could feel, internally hard. But in some ways, I feel like November should feel a little bit smoother. Let's go ahead and just kind of jump right in. So we start November out with Mars, Mercury, and the Sun and the planetoid series in the fixed sign of Scorpio. And the area that that's hitting for the Aries horoscope is the area that has to do with marriage, sex, death, rebirth, shared assets, shared resources, loans, investments, debt, financial institutions, things like that, taxes. And so all of those things are a theme for you currently because we've been in Scorpio season for some time. And we also have had Mars and Mercury in Scorpio for a little while now. So it's not like this is totally new for you, but we have that frequency for a bit in November. And so those themes come up. So when you're, if you're an Aries that's in a partnership, whether you're married or just living with somebody that or dating somebody that you share some kind of resources with, whether that's financial, material things. Mercury here with Mars and the Sun and Ceres, the way that you communicate around money and shared resources comes up. Also, sexual intimacy can be a theme. And then also another theme can be communication around debt, loans, taking on assets, or things in that way. Sorry, I'm not speaking eloquently. I just did a whole nother video, and so once I start getting kind of tired after doing them, I start to be a little discombobulated. I'm going to try to power through as many videos as I can tonight. It's Halloween. It's the last day of October. I feel like I'm ready to talk about November, but I'm also kind of like depleted. I have a night coffee, drinking a night coffee. But all those things are up for review. Also, if you're dealing with an inheritance specifically, that also comes up for the Aries individual. And also, this area rules parts of the subconscious that are related to past trauma around things that have to do with family legacy. And the fourth house is often associated with family and legacy, but because there's the shared resources and inheritance part of the eighth house, which is where these transits are hitting for the Aries horoscope, those things also come up, and the occult. So, you might be thinking a lot about, those themes currently right now, or in certain situations in life where those things are coming up. In the horoscopes, I really try to just focus on the personal planets, which is Mercury, Venus, and Mars, the sun and the moon. I try not to get too much into the outer planets because we don't really use those in horoscopes as directly. But I will say, using Jupiter in this, Jupiter and Uranus are in the area of the chart that rules your finances. And so they've been here for a while. They've been here for a long time. That's already been impacting that. But I think money and how money's distributed and split between a household, family members, all that kind of stuff definitely is a theme for Aries this month. We also have, starting out November, we have Venus in Virgo, and Venus has been transiting the area of the chart for Aries that has to do with your health, also your mundane routines and how you're of service. And so if you've been in a state where you know that you need to get more on top of how you're taking care of yourself, your health routine, your daily routine, putting things in order in that way, that's also been highlighted for the Aries chart. A couple of things that are going to be happening this month in November is that Mercury is actually going to be leaving Scorpio on the 9th and entering the mutable fire sign of Sagittarius. Sagittarius energy is really positive for Aries. Fire likes fire. So Aries and Sagittarius make what's called a trine to each other. And Mercury is going to be entering the area of the horoscope chart for Aries that has to do with our values, our belief systems. It also has to do with education, higher education, disseminating knowledge, as well as learning or gaining more knowledge. Also the area that rules long distance travel. So while Mercury is passing through Sagittarius, which will be for the rest of November, this is a really positive time for you to open your mind, maybe seek more wisdom, truth, knowledge, share truth, knowledge that you've obtained. Also, you might be reflecting and reviewing values and belief systems and being more open-minded towards other perspectives or change around those things. There also could be a need for spiritual fulfillment. And then if you are feeling an inclination towards travel, that is also heightened in the month of November for you. Before that, Venus is going to be entering Libra on the 8th, which is very positive for all of us in the sense that Venus rules Libra and will be in its home sign as well as house in the Aries horoscope. So that's the area that represents relationships, the 7th house. And even though Venus is opposite Aries and creates some tension, it's still a positive energy when it comes to, kind of creating more harmony and balance and fairness within relationship. So, if you have been in a little bit of a state of conflict around some of the things that, Scorpio energy has been drudging up when it comes to shared assets, resources, sex, intimacy, all of those themes that I talked about at the beginning, Venus and Libra might actually help kind of smooth some of that stuff. And then with the Mercury moving into Sagittarius, it's actually kind of a positive energy, especially if you go on a trip with somebody that you're in a relationship with. There's a lot of harmonious energy happening for you, kind of more around the middle of the month in November when it comes to how that story is kind of unfolding. Let's see here. Mars is going to be entering Sagittarius on the 24th. And so Mars will finally be leaving that area that has to do with shared resources and sex, death, rebirth, the occult, all of those themes. And it's going to be entering the area that has to do with where Mercury's been. So higher education, spiritual beliefs, values, long distance travel. And some of the positive aspects of Mars in this area could be that you feel more driven to take action where there's things in life that you want to do or expand or grow in. Sagittarius energy is all about expansion and growth. And because it's making a trine to Aries, making a harmonious aspect to Aries, you might feel a lot more passion and drive towards going for the things that you want in life. Aries is a pretty driven energy anyways. But, and Mars is your ruler. And so with Mars making kind of this harmonious aspect, you might be more inclined to feel that boost of energy towards, expansion at the end of the month. The sun also enters Sagittarius right before that. So on the 23rd, the sun is going to move into Sagittarius and highlight that area of the chart as well. So by the end of November, you're going to have Mercury, the sun, and Mars all in the area of the chart that's pushing you maybe into learning something new or deeper about the world, yourself. You might feel inclined to do some traveling, gaining other perspectives, developing different beliefs or values, and being open to other people's beliefs and values is also highlighted during this time. So, and then, with the Venus and Libra, there's also a lot of opportunity for you to feel more harmony and passion or connection in your romantic relationships. If you're dating too, that energy is enhanced and promoted in terms of feeling more unified and more connected. We do have, some hard aspects happening this month that I go over in the November 2023 astrology forecast. So I always recommend for everybody to watch that video first, because you get a bigger synopsis generally on how the month is going to go and some of the other transits. And then the horoscope, you know, is a little bit more brief, where I just kind of touch on the overall arching theme for you as a sign. But I think overall, like, despite some of the tense aspects that we have throughout the month, there are a lot of opportunities for growth, expansion, and connection. So I think that, you know, you might be pushed out of your comfort zone that you've been in. You might be pushed into having a more harmonious relationship with others, and also, you know, getting to a place where maybe the growth that is being asked of you feels good versus uncomfortable. So I think it's going to be a positive month for Aries overall. And yeah, I'm excited to see that for you, honestly. So let's talk about the moons that we have. So for November, we have on the 13th a new moon at 20 degrees of Scorpio. And so new moons are a great time for setting intentions, the things that we want to manifest or call into our life. This is a good time that we kind of tell the universe, like, here's what I want, here's what I want to bring in for the next cycle. And the area that this new moon is hitting at 20 degrees of Scorpio, this area has to do with what I started out talking about in terms of the, you know, financial shared things like taxes, shared resources, investments, loans. So like, this is a really good time to set intentions. If, let's say, you want to pay off some kind of debt or manifest some kind of investment situation, this is a good time to set intentions towards that, not necessarily to do it, but just to kind of put that energy out there. The other thing that this is really positive for, if you are feeling like you want to manifest more sex in your life, this is a good time to set intentions for that. If you are still kind of dealing with something from the past that's painful, especially if it's connected to death or anybody's death, this is a really positive time to set intentions towards healing around that. Also, transmutation of energy, right? So Scorpio is all about death and rebirth in the literal and the metaphysical or metaphorical kind of aspect. And so death, you know, in the literal sense, we could be still in a period of feeling grief or reflecting on death in a way that, you know, we need to honor and experience, and maybe set intentions towards how we're going to heal and move on from that. And then on the metaphysical level, you know, death and rebirth can be alchemical of the self, where we feel like we're going through a death and rebirth on a personal level. There can also be a death and rebirth in a metaphorical way, where maybe the things in our life need to change, you know, or in a relationship or a marriage, there's a death and rebirth that needs to happen. For some people, they might feel like they need to fully leave their relationship to have that. For others, it might just be that something needs to change, or some kind of new routine needs to kind of, you know, come into the picture. So there's a lot of things that this new moon represents for Aries and how it can be utilized. Also, if you're not married or you're not in a partnership, but that's something that you want, or you want to set intentions towards that, that's also something that you can utilize the energy of the new moon too, is setting intentions towards a new union, or, you know, bringing shared resources together, or joining assets, things like that. Those are intentions that can be set. Our full moon that we have in November is not until the 27th. So November 27th, we're going to have a full moon at 4 degrees of Gemini. And the area that hits for the Aries horoscope, so we have the sun happening in the 9th house of Sagittarius, and that has to do with our values and belief systems and how we're perceiving truth and wisdom, education. And then the 3rd house is the house where the moon is going to be, and that represents communication, our perspectives, also our relationship with siblings, things like that. Full moons are a great time for releasing and letting go. They're also an energy that we use for manifestation. So, you know, this moon for everybody, but especially for Aries, is going to have a lot to do with on reflecting on our values and beliefs, and whether or not we feel like we're living in alignment with them, and what is our truth? What does it mean to live in our truth, or walk the walk versus just talk the walk? And so you might be in a state where you're feeling a transition or a change at the end of November, and there's changes that need to be made to bring you more into alignment with who you are and what you want out of your life moving forward. So that's going to be kind of the big theme for Aries. I'm going to try to keep these videos on the shorter side, so I'm going to leave you with that. If you want more, watch the November astrology forecast. And I do feel like November is a little bit of a smoother month for the Aries individual compared to the last few months. So I hope that that ends up being true for you and that you have a great November. If you like this video, feel free to hit the like and subscribe button so you get notified on videos that I post in the future. And you can follow me at ladyofleisure.com or thesobercurator.com. I will see you all next month.